Taking up space and being inconvenient are two sides of the same coin, because you can't take up space and simultaneously still people please. You have to be willing to risk being inconvenient to some people if you're willing to spread your wings and take up space. The space you take up will be space that someone else can't take up, unfortunately. Now, this doesn't mean to go out of your way to take up other people's space. I think we're all, given a certain amount of space that we can take up, and many of us don't take it up at all. We shrink ourselves completely. And that gives room to other people to take up our space, the space that is for us. And it might not be conscious on their part, and they might not be doing it maliciously. But the point is that we work in tandem with each other, right? So if you are not taking up that space, someone else will fill that space. But when you start taking up that space, it'll be inconvenient for somebody who's used to taking it up instead. You have to be willing to do that for yourself, right? To show yourself that you are showing up for yourself, that you can trust yourself, and for the people that you engage with so that they know what your boundaries and limits are. It also helps you understand who is aligned with you, who flows with you, because where you end and where someone else begins is really important, understanding how this dynamic will unfold. If it's somebody who wants to take up more space within your life, then of course it's not going to be flowy for you, right? The dynamic's not going to function well because you need to take up that space as well. So if you struggle with taking up space, with expanding, with spreading your wings, and you also struggle with being inconvenient, you don't want to be inconvenient, but you still want to take up space, you kind of can't do that. You have to be willing to be inconvenient sometimes. Not out of maliciousness, not out of hatred, not because you're being selfish, but because you're trying to also look out for yourself. And this is particularly for people pleasers, right? Those who struggle with taking up even enough space, who are always shrinking themselves and putting themselves in small boxes that are just too tight and too uncomfortable. When you expand, it will encroach on someone else's space if they have been comfortable taking up more of yours.